What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Monday, January 17th, 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here with me on this moon day, this full moon Monday, in the moon's dignification of Cancer. I appreciate you all. I hope you had a great weekend. What a big energy to start off the week. We have a lot going on this week, so I do apologize for not having the capacity right now to get the weekly horoscopes out and do that channel and all that, because there's so much happening this week. But I'm going to be here for the dailies, and we're going to break this down as we go and get through it. But let's jump into Moon Day, dignified moon, Cancer full moon. Pretty amazing time. Pretty amazing time. This is already, an extremely sensitive day. The moon does start out the day before the full moon with a trine over to Neptune. So there's a lot of our sensitivities being felt. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of dreaminess. I think we can all dream about these comforts in life as the moon's here in Cancer and how we can make our personal lives more comfortable. But of course, we come to this full moon at 27, and the sun just came off a conjunction with Pluto at 26 degrees, and Pluto is in opposition to this moon in its peak, just about right before, too. It's almost gnarlier that Pluto will oppose the moon just before the peak out of the full moon energy, which will be at 3:48 p.m. on the West Coast. But this is an extreme deep dive. We're all searching as this South Node in Sag is in its final day of being in the South Node, and we're searching for this hope, searching for this comfort. We could be searching for so many things, and the moon is going to get ready to trine that South Node. But we have to go deep within ourselves to find comfort right now. And as we're in this axis of Capricorn and Cancer, it's about responsibility. So we have our outer responsibilities in life, but we cannot give too much to just the outer and think that it's going to bring us emotional or personal life or family or home life comforts, and especially just within yourself. Like, this is like a big moment of seeing every vulnerability within ourselves that limits us in society, that limits us with what we want to achieve. So really what this is trying to do is bring us into a balance point by releasing our own, where we don't self-nurture ourselves. So we have to be self-responsible. We have to take accountability for ourselves, for our feelings, and we have to feel those so that we can release and continue to move forward, right? We have a cardinal full moon here. There's absolutely something that has to be sort of let go of so that the next step can be initiated. And it's security within yourself. It's really getting comfortable with who you are right now, what you need right now, and whatever doesn't match with that in society, it's like, bye. There's no more room for that. But there is this Pluto in opposition where we can try and hang on to, really, when I channel this, it feels like programs. It's just programs. There's so many programs in the world right now that are trying to teach you or tell you what you have to do to be safe. And gosh, this moon in Cancer, it wants to feel safe. Trust me, we all want to have security and safety and comfort in life. But we're not going to get that without just taking something off. Like, something's got to go. And it's the program. So we have to get ourselves, pretty disconnected here, especially a day before the South Node comes into Scorpio, and it's disposited by that Pluto, because this is a great time of realizing you don't have to be scared. And these nodes finishing up in Gemini and in Sagittarius have been so cerebral and so mental, and it reminds me of the Matrix, and it's like, free your mind. Like, we have to free our minds at this point to feel secure, because it's almost as if we just get stuck in our head and in the program and in this thought of what's true and what's not true. And you have to know what's true in your life and just own it. And that North Node in Taurus is going to be about you owning your life and not letting something else manipulate you into their life or control you, especially with Pluto and coming to the Pluto return with a South Node in Scorpio, which we'll talk more about that later. But I feel like it's very much a part of this full moon with it being in opposition to Pluto. You have to have self-accountability, self-responsibility, integrity right now to move forward and to create comfort in your life. It's just, we can think so much is going to come and give and bring us comfort. So much is going to show up, or the government's going to have our back. And I don't think anybody here thinks that, but like, you have to have your back. You have to feel worth it. You have to feel secure in your own body, in your own feelings, in your own emotions. And that can be extremely difficult right now because everything that we maybe have suppressed or hidden or pushed down, we cannot run from that on this full moon. So if we don't run from it and we're not scared, but we are willing to address the truth of the matter, of the feeling, and say, yeah, I'm not going to be in this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is a big initiated step for the collective to say enough is enough. I'm not comfortable in this part of society anymore. I am not going to keep building my inner world around this anymore. Like, this is a big cutting away of the life that you don't feel comfortable living. So, I mean, I'll be honest, like, this can go so many different ways, but I'll use like a kind of political, analogy is like masks. If you hate wearing a mask, but you still show up to a job that makes you wear one every day, and I know we're in Capricorn season and Pluto's here, and I'm going to tell it how it is. If you're still showing up to something that doesn't make you feel comfortable, it doesn't make you feel good, you don't want to do it, but you think that there's only security in that, this is where you don't want to keep going down those routes in life. Now, it doesn't have to just be that. There's, of course, a million different analogies that could be used, but that's a pretty, everybody's there's a lot of people kind of living in that realm right now. And I know because I talk to people and I have friends, and people don't want to wear masks, but they're feeling forced. And the South Node coming into Sag tomorrow, or to Scorpio tomorrow, like, people are going to feel so, like, if you think people have felt forced or pressured or, like, I have to do this to get this, or to have some kind of comfort or stability or emotional security in my life, we haven't seen nothing yet. So I think that's one of the most amazing, beautiful parts of this full moon, is to stop doing what makes you feel uncomfortable to fit into something that you think is going to bring you comfort. Now, I know we all have responsibilities, and I know that there's bills and there's children and there's there's a million different things that we've kind of, in some ways, as a society, really been conned into. And I know some people don't necessarily want to hear that, but we kind of are at a crucial moment in the collective, and you can come back to me if you disagree by the end of the year, and we can have a discussion on if this was right or wrong. But this is this moment of cutting away what no longer makes you feel secure, so that you can build and create and manifest new abundant places in your life that are going to bring you what you're looking for and what's going to make you feel emotionally fulfilled. So there's a lot of emotional fulfillment that can be had, but it's not going to be by doing the same old thing. We're going to spend so much of this year with the North Node on Uranus, pretty much like the last 4 or 5 months of the year. The most out of the ordinary, radical changes that you never thought you could create in your life, you can create. And they're going to blow people's minds. And we're at a place now, I'm not saying go quit your job if you are in that category of the mask analogy I used, but this is where it's like, realizing this is enough. Like, I'm not going to keep doing something that goes against my values, because that North Node's also going into Taurus, and this Venus retrograde is also giving us a hard look at what we value in society and what we do not. And it's inward first, so we're getting a big check here about where we're going. And a lot of that is based around your truth with this North Node in the Pleiades at 0 degrees. Your subjective truth is so important, and we can't live someone else's subjective truth. Like, we can take opinions, we can go back and forth, we can bridge gaps, but ultimately we're coming into your values. And that's going to be the most important thing, is how you can create beauty based on your values. And you can't do that if you're doing something that you don't even want to do in life because you feel like you have to. So this is a big full moon energy, because it's going to bring up a lot of fears around what we need to do in society to feel comfortable that don't make us feel comfortable. And it's going to be a big check too on our personal lives and our family lives, and what we do in those situations too, to maybe cater to someone else's version of society. And it's harsh. It's harsh here. This is energetically a wild full moon. Wild in a sense that we're not only cutting cords, but we're taking radical leaps towards something new, but there's never comfort in the new. Comfort is always in what you have already because you're comfortable in it. And this is changing our belief with the South Node in Sag, which Jupiter's been squaring the nodes, to get us ready here to believe that we can create new abundant situations, new journeys, new places, new homes, new everything that you could possibly imagine can be created still. If you're willing to deprogram, if you're willing to let this old version of how to live in the world and get further, or what you need to do to have more, or to have more status in the world, and even just responsibilities, like there's new ones on the brink. And this is going to redefine a lot of the ways we feel safe in ourselves, in our own body, and our emotions, and in our lives. And a lot of it is really going to come back to self-responsibility and accountability for every feeling that you have that does come to the surface that you don't feel comfortable in. They need to be addressed and released so that you can start creating new, because tomorrow the nodes shift, and it's going to be 18 months of where the world is going to try and scare people into something even more than they already have. And they're going to use a lot of media propaganda, and they already have, and they're probably going to use, it's going to feel like there's more media propaganda because there's probably more censorship right around the corner. So more of truth, more of just opposite opinion, or, different set of data is going to be pushed aside so that only one side can come out. And it's going to make people feel like, especially if they're not doing this on their own, looking for stuff that they're effed, Like, I'm going to have to do this. Based on a fear. So we'll talk more about the nodes, of course, tomorrow and as we go through the week. But if there was ever a time to be sharp and critical and to the point on your truth, now's the time, because you can cut away things in life that don't make you feel good and make some of the greatest changes to move towards the abundance and the safety, which safety is a funny thing, because how safe is life really? I mean, it's not. We have illusions of safety, but in the end, like, we're in this place right now where you got to take risks, new risks that are not comfortable to feel comfortable. And say bye-bye to, it's so funny, we pulled in a lot of the dailies, we've been pulling that 5 of Cups, and it's from the Badass Tarot deck, and it's, bye bitch. Like, we're literally saying bye to things right now because we're done there. We graduated. We're taking the next step to manifest new better things, and the values and the opinions and the minds have changed. Nothing is what it used to be. So even the old program of what is safe isn't even safe anymore. It's like the complete opposite. So everything's flip-flopped. I don't know if you've noticed this in the world, but everything is flip-flopped. So there's actually more security in the new, in the change, in the radical difference. And the North Node meeting with Uranus later this year is going to show that even more. Like you're going to realize that risks that you took now or that you took in the past over the last even 18 months, 20 months, 2 years, whatever it's been, those risks that you had to take and make big choices and take big responsibility, you're going to get payout for those because you went a radical different route for your values, for your independent truth. And this is like a big moment on this full moon to realize that comfort is temporary. And if you're not comfortable, it's because you need to make a change and you need to release some sense of what it takes to feel comfortable, because the only way to feel comfortable moving forward is going to be something probably that you never thought of. And with a stationed Uranus, you might not even have it figured out on this full moon. You might have to wait until Tuesday when the nodes shift, where there might be this just lightning bolt of, whoa, like I can connect to this to get value? Oh my gosh, never imagined. So there's a lot going on here. And Mercury is finally starting to move. It's going to come, I think, it's going to come to 8 degrees. So it's off, it's moving away from the squares to Uranus, trying to put together this crazy puzzle piece of life in this super, I got this figured out. Like, no, you really did have to kind of just let the heavens guide you and, be able to inwardly process things without, so much of the outer, new thoughts or new things coming about. So we're about to get a big jolt in our life right now. And with the retrograde planets, Venus and Mercury, we can feel like we're not ready for the jolt. We can feel like we're not ready to move forward yet because we're still processing and going back or feeling all these heightened emotions today that are really being, getting a big light shined on them. We have the moon, our subconscious too, our feelings, our emotions getting a light fully shined on it. And then there's also Pluto getting the light of the sun in conjunction. So when it comes to our subconscious, when it comes to our securities and our root chakra here, we're getting a big test of how secure we really feel. And if we don't feel secure in ourselves, that has to be released so that something new can rebirth. And that rebirth is going to give you the confidence moving forward to move forward to anything that is going to take you higher, that feels aligned with your soul, with your mission, with your destiny. Because there's a lot of that too with Capricorn. So there's legacies being written right now, but they're not written in the old system. They're written in a new system, and the new system isn't written yet because we came here to write the system. So I hope that actually brings some confidence to people. Like, we're here to write the new system. It's not somebody else writing it for us. Each and every one of us in this collective has something very special to write in this story that we're heading into. And Saturn's teaching us that too in Aquarius. But it does have a lot of people rebelling. So we are, in a time too where we can see a lot of rebellion as Saturn's out of shadow now. So Saturn's full speed ahead to 25 degrees of Aquarius, and it's going to get pretty serious there. Like, this is connecting or it's not, and it's going to justify it and make decisions based on that. The full moon will also be quincunx Mars just before, and then Mars is in a sessi quadrant to Uranus. So, there's definitely there's weirdness to today. It's not like... It's not a comfortable day, and we're going to want comfort so bad that we can stay in situations in life and not pursue our dreams or pursue our great journeys because we're scared to make a change because we're comfortable. Or because we think, it's more of an illusion of comfort, really. So there's really strange, radical things that, and it might just be little tweaks right now. I'm not saying that this is necessarily like with Venus and Mercury just absolutely hit the ground running, make the biggest changes of your life. No, this is feel everything and, you know, make a conscious effort to get things looking forward while we're also looking inward and kind of going backwards and making sure that we're ready to make those things happen. So it's almost like, yeah, I've had enough of this. It doesn't make me feel good. And then we're going to have time here to process how we can make any change. So you don't have to make every change. This isn't necessarily like a day where I think you're just going to have to, I mean, it could definitely make people extremely sensitive and a lot can come out. And, you know, how people deal with that is going to vary. But take note of how you're feeling and take note of the things that are not making you feel comfortable in life. And ask why. And do they make you feel uncomfortable because you're being forced to do it? Or are they making you feel uncomfortable because it's new? And I think that we also have to have that difference too, because if it's just an uncomfortable new, well, maybe that's actually where we're going to find the most comfort. But if it's an uncomfortable feeling because you're being forced into something or you feel like you have to, I would say that those are the things that need to be looked at the most intently and intensely in terms of how you can start to make really radical changes to not do that. And it's probably likely going to be like some bigger changes. You know, they could definitely feel like, I can't believe I'm doing this kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's quite the Monday. Look at these scores for this full moon. All plus. There are some high scores, but look at that Jupiter, +7, almost keeping up with Saturn. +6 for the moon. Even the sun in Capricorn's getting a +1. Pretty amazing. So, I mean, there's just a lot of energy with this full moon. And it's going to be felt because we can all feel that things are changing in our reality. Time, space is changing. Every single thing is changing. I mean, geez, just look back in your life over the last 2 years. Did you ever imagine that the world would be in this hole that it's in right now? This weird mess of like, just blah. It's just blah. But the only way to change that is for you to change it. Like, this is not going to be like somebody, like Q is a great example. You know, people really wanted it to be Q and to trust the plan, and this guy's going to drop the information that's going to change the world. Whoever this is. Like, psyop, right? And it's a psyop because you cannot expect anybody to make your life better. It's the self-accountability that if you want to make your life better, you have to make your life better. And we're going to have to take risks in life to bring in more comfort and security in the future. Because right now, living the way we're living is not going to bring us the comfort and security we're looking for. And this full moon is going to hit us, whether it's emotionally or mentally. It's just not gonna work anymore. So I want people to know that, like, me too, you know, like we all have to within ourselves be willing to step up to make change. If we don't do it ourselves, nobody else is going to do it for us. And that can go different for every single person. So I'm not saying either that it's like everybody's got to do it one certain way. This is where you got to get in touch with yourself and how you can make your life better. It's all about you. Because that South Node Scorpio over the next 18 months is going to kick people's asses that are looking for someone else to save their life, make them feel better, or to obsess over, anything or whatever other people are doing, whether it's their opinions, whether it's their beliefs, whatever they're thinking, and where their psychology's at. Like, you got to pay attention to your psychology, your values, your life, your security, and the connections that are close to that. And you're going to see abundance, but we have to make changes in our life if we want to see the abundance. It's not going to be handed out. So this is a great time to realize what you can do to make your life more stable and have a stronger foundation by letting go of aspects outside of yourself that are making you feel unsafe or unstable, or like your foundation is eroding away. And it's okay if you feel like your foundation is eroding away, because that foundation was never meant to hold you up for where you're going. So it needs a remodel, it needs a revamp, because the new foundation that's being built is the one that you're going to build the biggest structure upon in your life. It's a very mission-oriented stuff for the collective right now. There's too many people in this collective. I know we can think that many, there's some people that don't see, but there's so many people that are ready to make a change for themselves, and the ripple effect that causes in our collective it's amazing. So you are at this point starting a ripple because of the choices that you're making to not do what everybody else is doing, to not give in to fears, but to create abundance, because you know your worth, and you know you're amazing, and you know that your foundation was built for this. So whether your foundation is getting a remodel right now, or whether your foundation is getting fortified and just stronger right now, you are making a huge difference in the world. And this is a big full moon for that. Sending you all my best. It's been a very long day. And it's intense astrology. This is an intense full moon. And yeah, I like to give you guys like the soft, like, this is beautiful stuff. And then when we get stuff like this with nodes ingressing or Uranus stationing, about to turn direct with the nodes, with the full moon, opposite Pluto, I have to give it to you real. And I have to go where the channel takes me, and that's where it went. Card for this full moon is the Seven of Cups upright. It can feel like there's so many offerings and so many things on the table, but there is something beautiful and divine right there for the taking, and it probably feels like a risk, and you probably just need to narrow down what it is that feels very divinely put in your life right now, because that's where the comfort is going to be. And it's not in all these other things that are really an illusion of comfort. It's an old, it could have been, but we live in a new, everything's different now. And I think most of you would agree to me that it's just a different reality now. So we have all these things in front of us, and we need to narrow down the most divinely aligned things. And if we need to make a change, we need to trust that divine presence or entity or whatever it was brought into our life to make us feel better. But it requires this direction and this decision from deep within to make. And we got that because of the Fool card, because it's a new beginning. Major new beginnings. I know it's a full moon and not a new moon here, but we are initiating new beginnings. We don't even have any idea what the journey is going to look like yet, but we're about to create it. So we have to release the stuff in life that takes us out of our own foundation of security, so that we can be secure in kind of a free spirit. Like, we need to be free to go create right now. And we gotta let the stuff out. And if we need to release or cry or anything, it's beautiful for that, because there's a whole new journey ready to begin. And it's based around you creating it for yourself. And the final card is the Eight of Swords in reverse. Yeah, you know, it's so funny. I feel like that's perfect because it's time to break out of all the programs, all the things that we think we can't do. We live in a completely flip-flopped universe. Everything that we thought was impossible or was impossible in the past is now possible. And if we can free our mind, we can achieve these things. And if we start this journey fresh with young energy and just fearless young energy to go create, you're going to see that narrowing down what you really want is actually going to open up to so much more than you could have ever imagined, because you're going to know your worth, your value, and you're going to be strong within yourself to make choices based on what you know. So, I love you all. I hope this was helpful. I appreciate you all so much. And it's my final day here. And I'm going to Southern California tomorrow. So, what a journey. What a life. I love you all very much. Have a great Monday. Happy full moon. It can be happy. I know I'm intense sometimes, and I know that was a lot, but you know, there can be happy feelings out there, because maybe you've already gotten to a point where you've purged off the unhappy ones. So don't think that you can't feel good, because you can. And you'll see what gets a light shined on it and what little insecurities or emotions do come up, and we can still have the ability to be happy and laugh those off. So it's going to be different for everybody. Don't think it's just all doom and gloom out there, because that's not true. All right. Love you guys. Much love. I am just rambling on tonight. Peace.